Hello and welcome everybody to Well X Breezy, a series from Well FM that dives deep into the OG NFT artists that we've collected in our vault. Eleonora from Breezy Art is here, and myself, of course, Decryptolorian, as your hosts. Today we are joined by one of our very, very special friends. He is absolutely one of my favorites, George Boya. So he's here. Hello, George. How are you?
I'm fine. I'm fine to see. Always happy to talk with the Well community. You know, my most beloved community in the space, which I was happy to see from the beginning, almost from the beginning.
Nice.
The birth of the way.
Yeah. Awesome.
Absolutely, absolutely. And George, so for those of you who don't know, here's my intro. George Boya is a Greece-based freelancer, collage artist, and illustrator. He studied interior design, art conservation, and restoration. His works blur the lines between collage, painting, stained glass techniques, and photography. He visually deconstructs parts of the real world that we normally think of as stable in order to create a new balanced collage composition. There we go. How'd I do?
Perfect.
Oh man, that's great. Also, so we did say we had Eleonora here. Eleonora, how are you doing?
Hi, very good. As usual, very happy to be here at the end of the month with you guys and these fantastic artists. Again, this is my favorite appointment of the month, where we just talk about art and look at the art without having all those panels about how to curate art and this and that. It's just we talk about art. So I'm very happy to be here, and of course, very happy to be here with George, whose art I love.
Oh yeah, absolutely. We also have Rune, and Rune is here with us. He let's see. How are you doing, Rune?
I am doing good. I'm not ruining any spaces here. Don't worry. I am really, really excited about this because George Boya's works were some of the first ones I saw when I joined the whale community. So and out in the Twitter spaces. So yeah, and it's this is good. This is really good.
All right. So thank you, Rune. You sounded great. There was no blips or blurps or whatever. So this is good. We're off to a good start. But before we get into to Eleonora and some of her questions, George, for those of us, so I did my intro, but everyone loves to hear you instead of me, of course. So for those who haven't seen your work or looked at your work before, can you give us just a brief, hey, this is George?
Very briefly, I'm a collage artist. I started as a traditional collage artist, with paper and glues and scissors and all that stuff. I had my journey there in the hand-cut world of creation, and then lately I started using digital tools like Photoshop to continue again my collage artworks. I've been to the space for 2.5 years, I think, and I have my works in various platforms like Maker's Play, Super Racing, Rarible, and stuff. That's the brief.
Don't ask the artists to talk about themselves. No, okay. It's not only that; it's so much more. It's so I also interviewed George for the Rizzoli book, so we had a pretty in-depth conversation about what is art and who is the artist and the role of technology before talking even like about the NFT space and crypto art. George, I think he's one of the most curious artists that I've have dealt with, And I think that you can see it from his works, and also from the way he approaches, and he approached, for instance, even the blockchain space. It was doing physical art, as a collage artist, and then didn't even he said that he wouldn't. It was even like a little scared, about technology, but then the curiosity and the spirit of like exploring and experimenting is probably stronger, and that's how he got into the space for which we are here today, talking to him. But then this, like transit, which within it's a transit, but it's a continuum, right? It's just a sequel of what it was. You can clearly see in his works, it's very harmonious. And I think that if we want to start looking at the gallery and do some work, so people can actually see what we're talking about, his art speaks better than us. um, but yeah, he's a very prominent artist in the crypto art space, with this fantastic collaged characters, which we don't understand whether there are heroic, very normal people living adventures, or living like a normal life. Even sometimes like anthropological studies, characters from old history, or tremendously modern, cybernetic, or very human. That's what I wrote when I was looking at the works. So yes, and I think that when usually when we are in this kind of like in front of this kind of artworks, there is the richness of a creator that again doesn't stop, doesn't put limits to his creation, but really like very visibly embrace new tools and new ways to express, I think, their creativity.
I
um
think
I'll-
also,
Mhm.
sorry,
Go, go, go,
sorry to
go.
interrupt you, Leonora, but I think also it is the power of the medium. I think that collage as a tool gives you the opportunity to work with every image you like, from the past, from the future, black and white, colored, everything all together. And it was kind of like I tried to exploit all the possibilities, the possibilities that the medium gave to me. So it was easy for me to explore the past and the future together, or have a scene that it is surreal, but both very tight to the reality of the space.
Yeah, why did you okay, so you is this the reason why you chose to do collage? I mean, what brought you to collage in the beginning?
Yes, actually, in the beginning, it was the idea of creating stained glass artwork, but using pieces of paper instead of glass. That was the idea at the start.
Mhm.
So I did all these stained glass looking artworks, the rise of Homo mechanicus, or the masks that you present at the exhibition. But after a while, I switched to a more, symbolic, or I wanted to narrate something. I wanted to say something through my art, and with the stained glass technique that I was using was not actually. Again, there was a message, but the message was kind of in the photos, so it was inside. Inside the portrait, or the item that I made. And then later I decided to, let's say, take it out, make like a direction of a scene.
Uh, uh,
Like I'm a director, and I'm putting everything in place, and taking a snapshot, and the snapshot is the final result. And actually through this, because always I was thinking like a director. I became curious with the digital art, because I would have the opportunity to put some motion inside the art, something that I didn't have when I was making the hand cut. And through that, I think that my ideas and the medium shaped all my way of thinking about my art.
I really love your thinking of the collage as a collage artist as a director of a scene.
Mm-hmm.
I was thinking about collage. Sometimes collage seems to be a little bit of like a not limitative, but we fall into those stupid conversations for which, like, yeah, you take things from other arts, blah, blah, blah.
Mm.
But and I see it as the opposite.
Yeah.
I saw it as a somehow like the curiosity and the need for pushing the borders even of your own artwork, like is so big that even yourself, if you would create something yourself without all these other stimulus, like different souls put in the same work, it's almost like it wouldn't be enough. So I don't see it as a limit. I see it at the opposite, as you said, like the director of a scene where you have even more layers in the same
Yeah.
artwork.
Yeah.
That's very, which is like it's very precious. And I think that's why I asked you about collage, because sometimes it's a genre that really needs to be explained more and be taken into consideration. It's not always the genre that everyone like loves in the art world, but instead it's probably the opposite. And I think that we can really I think that the genre of collage is at its peak with your works, because then there is harmony, and so you understand that in the end, of course, it's your creation, and there, it's very it's a very beautiful take on collage art. And then
Thank
you said that technology basically came in, say, to help you for even like creative things that you.
more than help. I think more like unlocking a new level of possibilities. I mean, I thought about it, as a help at the beginning, but it wouldn't be enough, to hook me into it if I just saw it as a help. So, because even with hand cut creations, I was doing it mostly for me. So when you are all alone, you are doing your art, you are thinking and you are thinking, and you somehow want to enjoy all this journey and understand what are you doing. For example, when you were talking about the limitations, I remember that through the limitations. I created some of my best artworks because, when you have 5 sheets of paper as a material and you say, okay, I will do this thing now. It's not like the digital one. You cannot take the same, part and put it again and again
No.
because it is the best part. You are limited. You cut it, it's over. So, okay, even though I could have go and make more prints, I work this way. I mean, to find, the right part and the right thing through these all limitations. I will use? I will use this little part, this that I discarded from a previous one. I will take it again, and this is something that I cannot exactly do it with digital art, because it is always, there's unlimited thing. So there will be some sort of repeatance after a while.
Yeah. And can I ask you what you put in the so for like digital collage, right? All these the pieces of the collage, like a mosaic.
Okay, let's say that one. The Mechanicus series is all made from the metallic parts, from a photo of a KitchenAid machine, the one that makes that. Because I chose it a while back, and it was had all these reflective surfaces. And I used it again and again and again and again. And in this particular one, the red dress is from a red fabric photo. I mean, and some little details like car lights or photo lenses, just to spice up a bit.
So cool. You see, this I didn't know. Do you want to look to another one and see what you
Yeah,
put?
yeah, of course, of course. I think this is, the most exciting thing about these artworks. I mean, these are all the same, but I used a lot of kind of photos, and it's funny because sometimes you think that you have a result, and then the result is totally different. For example, I used a photo of a rose once to make a romantic portrait, and I realized that. The final result was like a torn flesh. I mean, because all the
Because yeah. So you don't. So do you have the harmonious image in mind first, or you start from the collage and then it manifests to you? Usually, do you already have, maybe you have the topic but you don't have the shape yet?
I have the shape. I make the shape first, but then the material I will use. Let's say I make the frame first, like
Mm-hmm.
the frame, and then I start experimenting a bit with the photos. Now I'm doing it at my iPad with digital, so it's more easy to experiment. But more or less, the handcart was the same. It was a bit like a play, like an adventure. It's how it will come up, and it was always nice because I used a black background to make all these things. So after each day, I was watching it how it was evolving through the darkness. Coming each part. The the clothes or the face first and all that. It is exciting. I think it's important for an artist to enjoy what.
Yeah, and stay like and give yourself the chance to be surprised instead
Yeah,
of, right. You keep reading like being surprised by your art yourself. Yes, exactly. That's exactly what I saw in your collage. And I didn't know precisely the pieces that you were putting inside. Now it's even more exciting. Can you tell us anything about this piece?
this piece is again from the Rise of Homo Mechanicus series I did when I was started, kind of my digital journey, which
Mhm.
was not a journey of not making art with digital ways, but trying to find my place in the digital world. I mean, I didn't like exactly all the gallery thing or, making all these exhibitions and saying stuff. And, some people do not. So when all this social media hype started, I jumped on and tried to find my way through this. And I think I was inspired by this idea about how will be the future. I mean, part human, part machines. Maybe in a way we already are. I mean, when I'm sitting at my computer for 10 hours a day, what am I? Am I a human or a machine? I'm just using my fingers and my mind, nothing else.
Yeah. Well, there is a very it's a this mix. This question is very evident in the artworks. Are we humans or are we machines? There are even, like, as you were saying, like mechanical parts, but then the feeling is very much human. So it really is. What about the masks? What did you have in mind when you? I call them masks with, like, the faces.
Yeah, yeah. Well, the masks was a project I did here years back. It was I did some artworks for some of my friends, and I was trying to, make their faces from things they liked. I mean, that was the idea, more or less. So I used the sunset for this photo. Uh,
Oh,
for another friend of mine, I used a steak because he liked steaks and stuff like that. And it was kind of a fun project. But again, it gave also something. I mean, it gave me the opportunity to experiment with all these different photographs and make new patterns. And how can make someone out of the things he or she likes?
and also like to to represent your friend's identity not through the actual shape of the face but what's inside the face, which is
Exactly,
very cool.
exactly.
Like the
Like
identity.
bring the inside world outside. I mean, what they like, what they long for, and stuff like that.
Very good. I also wanted to say, because we didn't mention this on the live streaming, that this is probably the first time that we have a retrospective. Usually we only show the works that are in the vault. This time I picked many works. I picked almost all of them just because we couldn't fit them. So fantastic. This spanned the work of George pretty much from the beginning till today, and it's I didn't see like okay, so I didn't see a revolution in the style from the beginning until now. I see an evolution in topics that you treat. It's like I see, okay, it was, talking about certain topics and then it becomes more and more technological. There is like the historic, I don't remember the name of the series, but like with the historic characters, right?
Ah,
And
yeah, the heroes, yeah.
yeah, and then all these different topics and group of characters that you create. That's where I see like the path more than in the style. But if I ask you, like, do you think that your style changed from the beginning till now? Because your style is so recognizable and clear that it's difficult for me to see where it changed, if it did change.
Well, it did change when I started making artworks with having in mind the narration and the direction. But I kept things from my previous styles alive then to the new one. So I think you can say continuation
Yeah.
in a way. It was more like you said it when you were talking with Reinhard Schmidt. I remember
Uh-huh.
that when an artist starts, repeating himself.
That's bad.
Exactly. That's bad. That's bad. So this was the idea behind. I did stuff, and mostly I was doing them for myself. But you can get bored of yourself also. So I changed. I said I will do more narrative stuff. I
Mhm.
did some artworks with the tarot cards, and
Yeah.
this was like a school to symbolism and understand some things. And then I did some more artworks in this way. Then again, when I started my digital artworks, I took parts again. A little here, a little there, but the idea was at the end to mix them all together, and do everything, anything I would like to do. But it is also the medium. I think collage gives you a lot of freedom to create. You cannot get bored doing
You
stuff.
so let's say that you are, because this is very interesting as a topic in these days. Everyone talking about Mid Journey and the copyrights. So
Ah,
the
yeah.
do you everything that you use is your own material, photos that you took, or I mean, yeah, even if it's kitchenette, it doesn't matter. Is it you took the photo, or you also have this database of sources from the internet, which for me is very normal. I'm just saying, just to see where the critique goes here.
Oh, yeah, I know. Well, it's a question, asked from a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of have a code of honor, personal code of honor about this. And I always tried to use photos before all the copyright stuff and all these things that were kind of simple, not something very impressive that I will cut, paste it at my artwork, and use its impressiveness to impress other people.
Mm-hmm.
So it might be the KitchenAid. Okay, it's an impressive photo, but it's a well photographed photo of an item. But how can I use this item to, change it, rechange it, and make something impressive? It doesn't look like that. So it was always my, this kind of code of honor. Take something simple and make something impressive with it, because I saw other artists and they took illustrations from older books and make collages. But
Yeah.
I mean, this is kind of cheating. I mean, if you take an impressive illustration of a flower and put it with an impressive illustration of a woman, you make something impressive. But is it your own? I mean.
Very cool. That's a very nice answer. I take something very simple and I make it impressive instead of
Yeah,
taking.
I think that's the idea. That was the idea indeed. Back then later, now I'm using photos from how do you call it, commons and stuff like that that are free to use and. But I mean, it's not that it wasn't fair. I think it was not, not cool. Not there was no value in that.
I think what you are, your thoughts are deeper than fair or not fair. What you're saying is that if you take a photo of like a Leonardo da Vinci piece and you cut it and you put it in your piece, it's very. I don't want to criticize those who do that, but I get your point.
Yeah.
Okay, take the photo of sunset and see what you can do with that, which is something very simple in life with simple colors. It's already an impressive creation that was already done, and put it, just transit to your work. But it is probably also like a different way of doing collage, and that's also probably why your creations are so balanced and harmonious, because it's the colors are balanced, even the patterns inside the cuts and the pieces, like the bricks, are very as you said, it's like it's from simple patterns. It's not like, right, of that collage. I mean, sometimes, like, if we didn't know that it is collage, sometimes you can even not say, because it's very homogeneous, it's very harmonious. It's I don't see like pieces of, like cut pieces from different works or photos and put in there. It's very homogeneous. It's even hard to say that it's a collage.
Yeah, I took also a lot of ideas from other mediums, like making highlights and shadows, so I can make a more 3D effect and stuff like that. So I evolve it in something I think totally my own.
Yeah.
Of course, I made some workshops, so I taught other people to do that.
Really? That's good.
Yeah, man, and it was They all created something beautiful, and they all, understood how they can do something like that, taking their own photos or finding photos, and yeah. It
Yeah,
was
the
very
result, the result is very unique, and I mean, it's we all know. I wanted to ask you if there is specific topic that you are more interested in exploring right now for your creations. I don't know if it's a topic or like a need of talking about something through your art in this moment.
well. Now I started creating again though this style of artworks in a totally digital way with my iPad at Procreate. I mean, I tried for a lot of years to start doing again this kind of art in digital form, but Photoshop and other tools, do not make the process very enjoyable. So I didn't like it, and afterwards, yeah. When I took the iPad and start learning a bit how it's going on with the pencils and stuff like that, I found out that this is an enjoyable process to to make again this kind of art. So this is where I'm focused now.
Mhm.
I think the topic is it's just beauty, nothing else. Make something beautiful and something full of light. I think that look like there is a darkness all around us, and it's I'm feeling suffocated, and I would like to make something, something beautiful and colorful and full of light. So I'm experimenting again with the sunsets, with the crystal photos, stuff like that, and having a lot of good time making again these artworks uh, in a digital way, pure digital way now.
Pure, yeah,
Pure,
native digital.
yeah.
Oh no, thank you. You're creating some beauty for the world. That's good.
Yeah. See it more like that, Eleonora. I don't know. It's like a bit, as I said, there's some darkness, some dark thoughts that I want to send away through this process. And
Good, very good.
this
And
is kind of a mix of my all styles together. This artwork. I mean, again, there is the KitchenAid machine parts, and a little bit of everything else, like the sea and all these other photos. Again, simple photos. I mean, just a wave, nothing else.
do you get interested in when you go around, when you walk, when you go around the city or the wherever? Or do you get interested in? Do you always think about, oh, I should take a photo of this because this would be very good for my collage? Or like you take photos, or you have inspirations when you go around? Where does your inspiration come from for the actual collage?
My inspiration, I think it's the state of my life. It's the inspiration, more or less. I mean, I remember, doing this mechanical stuff when I was, at this part of my journey, working, with machines at my work and stuff like
Oh,
that. Later, I got a little bit more, not political, but trying to keep an, watching what is happening. So my art involved in the more
social.
social and yeah, trying to say something about what's going on. Then with the digital, the digital world became more digital, more experimenting with everything around the blockchain, uh, how it's evolving, what are the different opportunities, the generative art, the randomness. It was fun, all the layers, all the things, really fun stuff. And now just, you know, this subject of beauty, more or less.
Beautiful. Do you think have you ever had a retrospective or your works exhibited somewhere? Like, how does it feel to see such a long path from? I mean, obviously here we only have the crypto art. We don't have before, but like from the beginning until now, how does it feel for you as an artist? How do you feel different from like 2 years ago? Do you feel different about like seeing all your babies on the wall?
I don't know. I see them more in the technical way. How much I involved in with the technical stuff. You know, previous imperfections that. But even the old ones had their own beauty through their
Of
imperfection
course.
and had this authenticity. Yeah, I think I'm happy because actually it's the first time I see them all together. I would say that I tried to accomplish everything that I had in my mind when I started. I mean, the ideas, and I conquered some of my fears also of doing stuff in the digital tools and all the technology. That it's beautiful, but it's a bit frightening also if you don't know what's going on.
Yeah. And so the last thing that I want to say is that so I lived in Beijing for 6 years in China, and so the traffic in Beijing is just crazy. It's like its own, he has its own identity. It's like you have, first of all, there are many people in Beijing, and second, you have like trucks, cars of every dimension. You have people in the Sanlunchi, right? Like selling fruit. You have bicycles. You have everything that you can imagine, more manual or with a motor, is there, like going together. So it's a big mess. It's like a jungle, but you very rarely see an accident. It's like it's a big wave of these people who somehow, I don't know how, understand this ecosystem. You have a lot like animals, in the traffic. Like they understand the ecosystem and they move slowly, but they move together. If one doesn't respect, because they don't, they're not like signals or rules, but then there is a flow. And somehow all these very different, even like social, like social, I don't want to call it like layers, but like social provenance, very different, with the little like fruit seller and a Toyota Jeep car. They coexist and somehow they live in harmony. So it is very various, very it's not chaotic. It's like
Like a
it's
collage of,
huh?
like a collage of,
Yes,
like a
exactly.
big collage.
My take was that, but then in the end you see harmony, and that's how I see your works. It's it's like there is this harmony, this many things inside, different, and also it's not only in the pieces inside of the collage, but these topics, again, this very cybernetic historical characters from ancient times, but represented like robots. So all these things, like the traffic of Beijing, like going together in this harmonious wave.
Yeah, I guess there's a pattern also at at my artworks. It came from the same mind. But I also, I like the idea of taking some parts and move them through time inside my artworks. I was thinking, like the process of I had these patterns of this KitchenAid machine that I was constantly, recreating them and join them and then cut them and do them and stuff like that. And I was thinking that it is a bit like, when you are making a bread and you are taking a bit of the dough and you put it to the new bread and stuff like that, and it is always the little piece of the previous bread inside. And I like that. I'm thinking about those things when I'm making the artworks.
Have you ever thought about having like a dynamic collage that changes in time? Maybe some pieces like changes in time. The internal part of a collage piece changes in time as metadata on an NFT.
I don't know. I never thought about it because that's a good idea. It's always the technical stuff that frightens me. Oh God, how I tried to do something like that with the chess, the Asian Guard, because it is a game.
Yeah.
So it is dynamic. It changes through the game. And also another artwork that I have at Asian Guard, which again it can be changed, but it will be cool to make something more,
Makers Place has a dynamic token contract. Seems to be there. Yes, they do. Well, just say it's fine. Okay. Well, I mean, well, thank you so much for explaining, talking about your art. It's fantastic, and as you can see, I mean, having the artist, there's always something that you didn't get. It was amazing. I think the kitchen ad should really make you a statue.
Yeah, or use the machine.
I don't know if Rue wants to talk a little about the gallery. Rue?
Oh, I'm here. I was just trying to find my unmute button. My power went out during this, and so I lost everything. And so I was just trying to frantically get back on. But anyway, yeah, no, George, I hope you like this gallery. As I was putting the pieces in place, your use of lines really drew me in. I mean, and obviously that's not a pun, but it was true. And so finding the backdrop space image for the rest of the gallery was really fun. I actually spent more time trying to find the image to use as the backdrop for the gallery. Excuse me. Probably took me about 4 days. just because I was I did find a ton of other images for future use, but I was like, I have to find one that pulls in all these geometric lines and all of these that gives that feel of what you are showing in your work, but at the same time I wanted it to be in a real life space. And I found this image and could not believe that it almost was like it's like an extension of your work. It was almost like, did he create this? But yeah, and so I thought it was really cool as a good view for the gallery. And then for the colors, I tried to match the color scheme that you used in most of your work. But I have to say, Eleonora, you nailed it a lot. When you were saying like George's work is unmistakable. I knew exactly what I was seeing and who I was seeing, and that's the same whenever I see any of your posts on Twitter as well. You were I think you were also a guest on our Artx Whale a couple months back.
Several times.
Yeah. Yeah, and so that was that was my first introduction to your work, and that was I should say that was the first experience I had as becoming when I became a member of Whale, was working with you guys on that part. But seeing these works and putting them into place, I have to say, George, this was by far, and I'm seriously knocking on wood here, the easiest, quickest, fastest gallery I was able to put together because of the fact that I knew exactly what pieces needed to go in and where they needed to go and the sizes. Everything worked perfectly.
I'm very happy with you.
Yeah, and normally, like when I'm resizing, images or trying to place them, I have to fight for a while to get them, just right so that they're not sticking out of the ceiling or, going through the walls. Everything posted perfectly, and I was very minimal changes I had to make, which was like, wow, okay. So it was great. I loved putting this gallery together, and the colors especially for me are they just, especially with like what we're seeing right now on Decryptolorian's screen with the mask right there, even though that's the back side of the piece, but with the colors of the blue at the top and the red
Yeah,
at the bottom, it just went perfect, in my opinion.
yeah, you did a fantastic work with the colors,
Thank you.
the gallery.
I really hope you like it. It's
Oh,
I wanted to do a flyover, but my I was gonna go ahead and post a flyover beforehand, but I was not able. I got the video, but my internet is really, really terrible, and it would not load it to save my life to Twitter. And yeah, that's one of the things I can't stand the most. I almost drove to McDonald's to post it. so, so no, it's wonderful, and I loved this space. It was really good.
DC, is there anything that you want to ask George?
Oh, there's a lot of things I want to ask George. George, it's always wonderful to hear the conversation that we have here. I love the questions that Eleonora asked. Sorry, it's been a morning, but yeah, she always has a really good perspective on art, and something that I really respect, and it makes me think differently about art, which I love. Going into your work a little bit, what I found interesting always about your work is the amount of movement that you actually put in the timings. I've always really liked that, and when you're talking about the different shading and lighting effects that you put in as well, it always intrigues me, and I go back and look at the pieces again because there's so much. Where do you get the idea or inspiration to add these timings? Because you definitely have this flow. Were you a musician before? Because you definitely have this like one, two, yeah, this snappy like 1, 2, 3, 4, like this nice beat going on. That's really cool. So what is that? How'd you do that?
well, it's again, it's because of the medium. I mean, I'm doing frame animation. This this artwork and the rest are, hand cut artworks that I photograph and then put them in Photoshop and try to make the animation. And because it was mechanical, it was the mechanicus theme, I wanted to make a mechanical movement. And so I started in this way with the frame to frame animation. And then it became a theme, I liked it. So I said, I can do more. I can put little details. I can, make a big loop, and then inside this big loop, starting putting other little movements, and a bit like a surprise for someone to start checking the art and seeing something that he didn't see the first time or the second time. Always like. Always a bit like a game of discovery, I think. So I follow the rhythm of frame animation.
I love that, and yeah, so what I just described. I mean, you got me, because really, when I look at a piece like this, and the viewers, I mean, if you're looking at this. Look at all the details going on here. So you have a frame in the back that's moving at this really interesting flow, right? You have the stomach opening up and closing. You have the lights of the camera lenses, different timings in the piece. You even have and that I think that's a mask over there.
Yeah.
You know, you have the eyebrows of the mask moving when the arm moves. I mean, and even the boya at the bottom. I mean, there's a lot of details. The boya
Yep.
at the bottom is
Oh,
the lighting is
Yeah,
going up
don't
and down.
forget the eye. Don't forget the eye.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. The lens is coming in and out. So, I mean, if you can
Yes.
see all of these things, and even how the layer interactions with the lighting too. So,
Yes.
you know, the lighting around the neck piece there. You can see that the layer moving in the back. I mean, this is masterful stuff for frame animation. I think you've really elevated that to the next level, George.
Yeah, thank you. I mostly did it for myself, to tell you the truth. I mean, I wanted always to, to have a story. I mean, and it's a simple animation in a way. It's hiding and moving parts. It's not something very difficult, but it gives you the freedom, to put all these little things. If you already have them from the beginning as layers. So it is a bit like like a game. I like that, so I will put a little detail here. I will put a little detail there. I will choose a small part to say a different story from the main story that maybe someone will catch it and. There is always a small award for the ones that are looking deeper in the artwork.
George, how long or how much time did you put into the timing of your animations? Because taking a look at this, I always try to envision like how in the world these were made, and having knowledge of some of the tools that are available. I always like to take apart, because I'm looking at these pieces for so long as I'm building these. I'm like, wow, I couldn't imagine. You probably sat there for an hour or two trying to get just the timing just right on the animations, open this long before it closes, have the spaceship move across the top, at this interval. And like you said it's simple animations, but at the same time, for you to finish your work, I can't imagine the amount of time it took just to finagle these things just right. And so even though they may be simple, there's still a lot that goes into it.
Yes, they take a lot of time. That's true. I mean, it's something you almost do it like the old animators did it.
Yes.
I mean,
Yes.
in the same way. If I wanted, like Terry Gilliam did the animations and Monty Pythons and stuff like that. That he had the figures and moving them, and doing that, all this, and just photographing them. It's a bit of the same. It gives you a lot of freedom to do stuff, but it's a process that takes a lot of time.
Consuming.
Yeah,
Yes.
exactly.
Yeah.
It is really.
Everyone has, their own talents. I mean, patience is my talent, so.
I have that talent, but not anymore. I need it.
I mean, the hand-cut collages took. I think this one that you are looking at took almost 2 months to be made.
Wow.
Wow. Really?
Yeah, because it's a piece after a piece, like a puzzle.
Wow. Well, real quick, and I know that time is against us, but the Santiago piece.
Yeah,
Florian, if you could, yeah, there you go. It's right there.
Amazing.
So for this just like this piece, I absolutely love it, and I don't, even though there's no animation. Whenever I came back to this piece and trying to do it, I just think it is so freaking cool, and the story behind it is nice because it's just a collage of images from Spain, correct?
Yes, this is I did it with a friend back at 2012, who is a photographer. And wanted to do something together. So I used her photos. She was traveling to places. This is from Spain. And
I love it. It's simple, but at the same exact time, it's definitely your piece because it speaks George Boya. But at the same exact time, the colors of the actual picture I love it. It's one of my favorites.
This is, the face and hands is from church inside with stained glass windows and
Nice.
stuff
Yes.
like that. And the other part is from nature, I think.
So beautiful.
It is.
Yeah, the photos were very beautiful too. Sometimes, the photos lead you to what you will make. I see now that every part that I'm using, I'm trying, to follow the lines of the frame so that, the result is, something that the viewer will understand that it is a hand or it is an arm and stuff like that. Yeah, this has impressive photos, but this is an exception to my rule because I use the photos of
It's wonderful.
in collaboration.
It's wonderful.
Yeah,
it's really good, and your style is so distinct. I could imagine this Santiago moving, the guitar moving, the hand moving. I could imagine it in your style. Man, but so we are at 10. I don't know. It happens quick, doesn't it? So okay, before there's a revolt, let me get the POAP going here.
There's a revolt.
The natives are getting restless.
I was like, did I miss the POAP?
I know. There's so much like, hey, what POAP? Let me test it. I had a issue yesterday. It is testing good. Okay, good. So that's the perk of actually minting the POAP. I get the first one, huh? But okay. So everybody that that has the POAP app ready, if you're listening, Eleanor's got her phone.
Eleanor's ready too.
She's ready. So go to that mint button and then hit the secret word. And okay, I'm giving everyone time to do that. Now type in art collage, one word, art collage. And
I will say that getting a little glimpse of this POAP ahead of time, awesome. It was awesome.
Beautiful.
I actually hyped up the crowd a little bit by saying, "Wait till you guys see this."
I do like a small token of appreciation.
Yeah, no, it's absolutely beautiful. It's awesome.
Oh yeah, I love this. Eleanor, did you get it?
I am minting because now I learned my lesson. I mint what everyone else is minting, so I was ready with the fun.
It looks like a ring, which is awesome. It's like it's a new design that I haven't seen as a POAP. And it reminds me of like a Super Bowl ring,
Yeah. So it looks like people are minting. So that's good. So I did this right. So good. So again, folks that are listening, it is art collage, one word. And I did post that into the stream text. We got a nice crowd in the stream text watching, and then also we have groups on Twitter watching. That's one of our new things. We have Twitter groups.
Okay.
We're everywhere that we can be. But yeah, this has been fantastic. It has been amazing, diving into this journey with George. I mean, from the curatorial text, obviously Eleanor's perspective on everything is just absolutely amazing. Love hearing everything that she has to offer us, because really and truly it elevates the art experience. Rune's gallery that he put together, always fantastic. I mean, come on.
Thanks, man.
And of course, the star of the show, George, is just a fantastic artist. Throughout the years now, we could say years, right? In the NFT space, we've enjoyed all of your works that have come together. And when Rune says it was very easy to put the gallery together, you know, I've done videos of your work in the past, promo videos, and he is 100% right. That I actually giggled. I don't know if you could go back in the recording, and I giggled when he said that, because I was like, yeah, that is so true.
Yep.
So yeah, absolutely amazing. So yeah, thank you, George, Eleonora,
Thank
Rune.
you guys for all you know, the work, you know, for all the presentation, because you know, artworks are nice, but you know, they have to be presented nicely also to
Yeah.
look nice.
Yeah, no, and George,
You know,
definitely share the gallery around. Everyone else is sharing on Twitter right now. This gallery's here as long as Arium's here. So yeah, it's awesome.
It will be forever there. Now, I
Really.
just wanted to conclude. I wanted to say that I had the same feeling of like easiness when I was writing the text. It's probably the first time that I wrote. I won't stay here writing about how it started or where it's going, because it's like I wrote it. You have to look at the works. It's even not, you know, it's not worth to even talk about it, because it's already like to debate about something which is already truth, you know. So like one of the few cases where you just have to look at the art. And also I wanted to say that all the genres in art are good. It just takes to have it's only few artists and creators that can actually elevate them. So, and I think, you know, that here we have a very, very good example about how collage art can be very, very elevated as any other genre of art.
Thank you so much, Eleonora. You know, about what you said about the words, I always say that, you know, I became a visual artist because I'm expressing better myself with images than with words. So I guess I did a good work about that.
Yes, you're expressing yourself very well with visuals.
Okay.
So thank you for creating beauty, and good luck with that, since now you're back to that.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everybody. And with that, George, do you want to tell us about anything that you have coming up that you want people to know before we cut off?
Well, I don't have some immediate plans. We have an exhibition that we will do a surprise thing, something.
Nice.
Surprise.
Awesome.
And, you know, I did a blueprint tasting art lately, something, again, kind of hopeful, kind of, you know, full of light. And now mostly I'm, you know, practicing, learning stuff, and, you know, keeping up with the space. So I'll see the dynamic tokens, Eleonora.
Awesome.
Oh, yeah.
What did you say?
About the dynamic token.
Oh, yeah. Think about that.
Yeah.
Dynamic collage.
Nice.
I love that idea. I really do.
You learn things at this interviews. You learn new things.
All right. Well, everybody keep an eye out. George might surprise us with a dynamic dynamic collage piece. I love that. So we'll keep an eye out on that. And everybody, again, thank you for coming. Please follow George on Twitter, so you're up to date with all the George stuff going on. Of course, you could say hi to George in the Well community. He's there. He's been there from, I guess, day one, really pretty close to it. And of course, you know, follow Eleonora, and you can see what she's got going on for Breezy. But thank you all for coming. And we will see you at the next Well event, which is coming up very shortly. So please keep an eye on that calendar. We'll see you soon.
Have a good one.
Thank you.
Bye, guys.
Thank you, everyone. Bye.
Bye.